The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 141. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady who's all the way from Malaysia. She is a personal and business growth strategist, so, I'm just really grateful to have her on here and share her story on self-confidence and what she has been through. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Pial Khadilla. Pial, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
I'm great. Thank you, Sheena, for the lovely introduction. So as you mentioned earlier, I'm from Malaysia. To be more specific, I'm from Kuala Lumpur. So it's a city of Malaysia. And I've been a personal and business growth strategist for the last 1 year.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm sure that's been like kind of a learning curve for you or, learning experience.
A huge one.
But I'm sure it's worth it. So what's your cultural background?
I am actually 3/4 Chinese and a quarter Malay, and Muslim by religion.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And Pial, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Hustle through the day and keep showing up for anything that you have committed yourself to, either it be relationship or your business or your life or your career.
I like that. Just some people forget that, there's still a hustle when anything you want to do that's worthwhile in life. And sometimes you just got to go out there and do it, right? And, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? Which is why most entrepreneurs go through the road less traveled, because not too many people are willing to go through the obstacles, go through the challenges that make you the person that you are today. So great quote. And how would you define self-confidence?
Self-confidence is definitely something that you have to find within yourself. It's something that didn't come naturally for me as well, growing up in this culture and society. There's a lot of judgments, a lot of societal pressure, a lot of more of like religious teachings as well, that some are sometimes a bit distorted by different groups and communities. So you kind of grow up trying to figure out, the things which are true for you and things which are not. So some, deep inside, you feel like that doesn't feel right to me, and but everyone's doing it, So it's just so difficult to want to break free from that mold, because a lot of people will be like, oh my God, you just said something that's completely sinful, or, God's never going to forgive you and things like that. So I kind of grew up in that kind of environment, and also like the best thing was just to keep quiet and suppress myself. And so that was going on in my life for a very long time, especially because both my parents divorced when I was only 7 years old. And I guess essentially when I managed to travel and study abroad to the UK specifically, that was when I had a bit more of confidence in terms of breaking free from the mold, because you have to know your strengths, and as you grow up, you build strengths along the way. And I think that's why family support and having surrounding yourself with good friends is really crucial, because they will definitely shape the way you think, the way you are, the way you act, and the way you behave as well. And so if they're there to give you that kind of guidance and to support you in terms of I was growing up with my parents, they were amazing support. And the people that I was talking about having more societal and community pressure, it was coming more from school, from teachers, especially the teachers, you look up to them, right? So I've been in boarding school since I was 13. And so my parents were the ones who really encouraged me to read a lot, to just, speak out my mind. No matter what happens, I have to defend and speak up for myself, even when I'm with them. So those are the kind of things that they always encouraged me to do. And they've never really suppressed me. And when I'm in school, that's what all the teachers do. And that's a lot of things that all of my friends, as well, so-called friends, do as well, And I think parent support and family is really, really important in shaping your path. So once you've gotten and you believe that you are, not to say special, we do know, okay, there are some things about me which I can see that is better than some other people. And no matter what they say, you have to have that own self feedback for yourself, right? And you have to stop just listening to the crowd, because you have to, be able to take and dissect things which are good for you and not so good for you. So in terms of, answering your question, is a bit long-winded. Confidence has the roots from where you've grown up, from the family support, and knowing and believing in your own strengths, and finally being able to shine and just know that the traits that you have were given to you, or where God has put you on a path to have all that, because there's something that you're meant to do, to champion for, or to share with the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And, especially like I feel like Asian women were always told what to do. I mean, it's great that your parents always told you to speak your mind whenever you can, even if it's against them. Because, most Asian parents are always just like, just do what you're told, don't make any noise, don't embarrass us, little things like that. And that's the little things like that that really stops us from, stepping into our own power and doing what we love or doing what we're meant to do. So, I really like that you mentioned that, you were always taught to speak your mind. And, after realizing that, you went to school abroad and that's how you were able to build more confidence, like, what was your life like after that?
So, remember I mentioned that my parents were divorced when I was 7, and I've always been, a competitive person, ambitious, driven, and goal-oriented. So when I went to the UK, I knew kind of like exactly how my life was going to turn out. I had this whole plan that once I'm done with my studies, I was going to get married, I was going to have 4 kids maybe 30, I was going to work for the Central Bank of Malaysia, and then I was going to start my own business. So everything I had planned out in my head, right? But I do have 2 beautiful sons. And so what happened was that I did get married after graduation. Then I continued to stay in the UK because I married a British by nationality. But then, things didn't work out too well. And during that time, again, in my own marriage, I was being suppressed by my husband then, in the sense of like, he was trying to control me. He was using religion to really like control I said, the way I thought, my behavior, people that I see, me from my family. So there were a lot of things that were not so nice. And at that point, for 3 years plus, I was struggling with like, okay, like, what does it mean to be a good wife? And what does it mean to just, be a person who has, freedom and can appreciate me for who I am? So there was in the struggle, and it wasn't easy at all, because you're trying to balance things out, but you know that it just doesn't feel right, and you frustrated it. You guys, to one point, like sometimes when people bring the worst out of you, you become someone that you're completely not. Like at one point, I became so envious of other people, of my friends, because it looked like their life was perfect on Facebook. And it seemed like, my life was just really, really bad from that perspective. And because of that, I was becoming like this bitter person. And I hated feeling that way. And I was like, this is not what marriage should be all about. This is not what a partner should do to me, because a partner should technically bring the best out of you. So, again, going back to what I mentioned before, really finding someone or people that surround you with a strong mindset and understanding that at the end of the day, like, we cannot control other people. And if anything, we should respect that and also allow them to thrive and to support that, because everyone is on their own journey. It may be right or maybe wrong. It's a journey for them to learn something, to do something good with it, or to share back those experiences with other people. We all just have to go through that journey, so we can actually break through our own fears, through our own challenges, past our own mindset. If we're not put down that path of struggle, we may never ever break through the things that we need to break through in order to get us to the next level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you were able to get out of that relationship, right? Because most women would just stay thinking that, this is all that I have.
Yeah.
There's nothing else out there. I might as well just make the most of it. And then people suffer. They suffer, on purpose for no reason, because the world or society has ingrained on us, like, if you suffer long enough, you'll get rewarded, when it's like the total opposite, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really glad.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad you're able to come out of it and realize that, you are worth way more than, someone else tells you, right? You loved yourself enough to get out of something that wasn't for you. So I really appreciate, sharing that story with us. And, if a woman's listening to your episode, she may be in a similar situation as well. What would be that one tip you would give to her regarding self-confidence?
So I understand that there will be this fear, okay? So there will be, when you're stuck in any challenges in your life, the fear is like, what if I don't succeed? What if I get rejected? What if I don't have enough financial support? Because at that point, I had a son and I was pregnant with my second son. And the biggest fear for me was, can I do this alone? Am I able to bring up boys who are going to be stable and not affected by the divorce and things like that? And the next thing was, will I ever have a second chance at love, right? Will there be another guy who would want me after having gone through a marriage and having 2 kids? Like, what are the chances, right? So those were the fears that I had, and it wasn't so much of societal pressure of what my family would say and things like that. Thank God I didn't have that kind of pressure. But the point is that when you're looking back in self-confidence, and as I mentioned before, you have to look back to your own inner self, because only you know how deep-rooted your fears are, and only you will know how to change that. No one else can do that. Like, I can give you words of motivation and tell you, like, you can do it, you're strong, this, that, and blah, blah, but that's going to give you, like, momentary high. Like, it's like a shot. and then you get all motivated, you're like, yes, I can do this, and blah, blah. And then after a while, you find yourself kind of like, just falling back into the norm and falling back into whatever your fears are, or the state that you're in, or the situation that you're in. So really, like, what I can say is, look back to yourself and to your history and to your past, and look back to even your own roots, right? Like, what have you gone through in your whole life, and celebrate every single thing, like small or maybe big. Even, for example, like, my father passed away when I was 13 years ago. And that was like the worst moment of my life. And nothing has ever topped that, till today. And because the loss was just so, even speaking about it, it's making me want to cry again. But the point is that having gone through that, and at that point, because financially my dad was supporting me, and when he passed away, that was kind of like my ticket to be able to study abroad. So, but instead of like allowing myself to fall into that whole thing of like, oh, what am I going to do now, blah, 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 I decided to, like, I decide my own destiny, my own fate. I'm going to work as hard as I can, and whatever happens, happens, And so I did, and I scored straight A's for my A-levels. I managed to secure a scholarship from the Central Bank of Malaysia, and I went abroad and I studied business administration, because before that my dad wanted me to study law, and something I didn't want to, and everything that I wanted, I got it. And so that's a huge thing for me when I look back, and I'm saying, like, like, this is little successes for me to celebrate, like the kind of woman that I'm. So you have to empower yourself. Remember that moment of success. Remember that moment of victory. Feel how it was. Put yourself back in that state. Every single time you feel like shit, or you feel like, oh, I'm not worthy, or I don't know whether I can do it. Like, all that's lack in your mindset. Bring yourself back to those victorious moments, and when you're there, that's how you get out of it. That's how you get the courage. That's how you regain your self-confidence. That's how you're like, fuck it, like, let's trust in the process, right? And move forward, and it's okay to fail forward. So that's it, really.
I love it. Thank you so much. And it's true, right? It has to start from within. It has to start from us if we want change. I mean, it's our responsibility to just change the course in our own lives. And I'm glad you were able to share that tip and, really empower women to just go out there and do their thing. So thanks for sharing that. And if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find me on www.pialkhadilla.com. And you can also shoot me an email at at pialkhadilla.com.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Pial, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Pial's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Pial for taking the time, to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Sheena, and thank you to the audience, anyone who's listening in, to all of your listeners, power on, because you never know what's happening. The universe is just working in mysterious ways to make sure everything that you've ever dreamt will happen. Thank you so much.
No problem. It was an honor to have you on, and thank you so much. To our listeners, be on the lookout for another amazing episode of another new woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Subscribe to The Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes and Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.